Gayanti yam samagaha Vyanavastita tadgatena manasa Ashyanti yam yoginaha Yasyantam navi
You're okay over there? You want to join us? There's a chair here too. Oh. Exactly. Oh. You know, it has various places where you can tighten it. And so that means it has various places where it can get loosened as well. That's all. Currants and almonds and dark chocolate. Get serious now, okay? Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinnavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Little more. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Where all have we traveled? You know? Started with what? The river of samsara, all this. What is this? All this? All this versus the I. Correct? I and all this. All this lurks and catches hold of the I, shakes it about, spits it out. This is a regular understanding that all this is much more powerful than the I. Correct? So we went, and that's what Arjuna also thought. That's why the Gita Dhyana Shloka talks about this, all this in Arjuna's life, the undercurrent of Duryodhana. What else? You know, the banks of Drona and Bhishma, all this we saw yesterday. So all this in Arjuna's life was overpowering him so much that the I got lost. This versus I. This is the boxing match that has been, you know, it's a setup from many, many ages. And usually what happens, all this, idam sarvam is the reigning champion. It's the Malla. Malla is the name of the local village wrestler. So it is the reigning Malla. You know? It's the reigning champion all this time. This, idam, you know, dishum, dishum. And then, aham. People are spraying some water, and, you know, whatever they do. I haven't seen somewhere, you know, Just a small shot. I saw this. This person was on the ring. Literally, just the rope was supporting him. Yeah, he had been beefed there. And then all the minions came, and they are spraying water. One of them is toweling him off, wiping, the face, all these things. So that is the state of aham. That has been the state of aham for most of the time, because this is how this is the perception, the perceptual reality. And the perceptual definition of aham is such that I am just nothing compared to all this. When the aham is not understood, it is biffed into a corner by all this. And then somehow being hopeful, because somewhere it knows something is wrong here. I should be stronger. I should prevail. But then this stupid, all this, idam is overpowering me. This is not fair. And then somehow, with great gusto, it gets up, goes in the ring again. This is the situation when neither the I nor the all this is understood properly. This is the situation. One feels just bent out of shape permanently by idam sarvam. Idam is lurking everywhere. Idam is lurking in your head, in the form of the mind. Mind is idam. So where are you going to go? You can't run away from idam. Okay, I'll run away from aham. You can't do that either. So if I don't know idam, the status of idam, I'm a loser. Literally. I'm boxed out of the ring, 2-3 teeth fly out this side, and then the person lands somewhere like that. If I don't know aham, then also I'm boxed out of the thing. Both have to be known. Both have to be known means the reality of I and the reality of all this has to be unmasked, has to be uncovered. Otherwise, no hope. No, I don't want to know all this. I want to know only I. Only I. Self-knowledge, self-realization, self-this, self-that. I don't want to know. I don't want to deal with all this. I told you all this is sitting in the head. Head, so many things can come. One person went to the doctor. I'm having headaches for the last 6 months. Oh, it's, in first 5 months they just sent him home with pills, migraine, migraine, migraine. And this time he was serious. He said, this headache is so bad, you better do something. Otherwise migraine, I will make it your grain. So they did some tests and found tapeworm in the brain, laying eggs. Yeah, happily made it its ancestral home. Yeah, several generations. Yeah, this is our ancestral home. Nice tissues, cushy, grey matter, nicely sitting there. Thank God it was only headaches. Because then they were so horrified, then they had to give strong medications to, give them moksha. And give the whole, dynasty instant moksha. It's called antibiotics. But anyhow, like the tapeworm in the head causing migraines, this idam is there. You don't have to encounter the idam outside the door. Don't think that if you bolt the door very tightly and sit in your room, the idam will not come and attack. This is the confusion. The idam is your body. The idam is digestive distress. The idam is breathing distress. The idam is everything. All forms of ashanti. This is what it is. So therefore you cannot say, I'll only know aham, I will not know idam. Because the idam and the aham, what is that? Mixed up. That is what Adi Shankara says. Satyanrite mithuni kritya. This is a very famous commentary in the Brahma Sutra, opening commentary. The aham and the idam are inextricably mixed up because you don't know where one starts and where one ends, and with reason, as we are seeing. And so that is the cause for suffering, is this not knowing I and this. Not knowing what about the I and the this? That the I and the this are not on a par. They are not equal. There is a difference. And what is that difference we are seeing? There are similarities, because the mix-up is caused because the differences are not seen. And the similarities are alone highlighted, correct? That is the cause of the mix-up. So we saw the similarities. What is I? Asti, bhati, priyam. And what is this? What is this? Asti, bhati, and priyam. Yeah, priyam by its presence or by its? यही बात है. Asti bhati priyam, asti bhati priyam. No wonder there is a mix-up. But there is a difference. What's the difference between this asti, this asti and that asti? I asti and something also asti. Come forward. Yeah. I asti. No, you can't say I asti. I as me. I as me, and then what? This asti. I as me, I am, and this is. Correct? What's the difference? Both are asti asti. What's the difference in the two astis?
One is recognized.
One is asti, the other is asti because I is asti. Little esoteric, but it's worth knowing. Yes. It's worth knowing. There's only one existence that happens to be I, just like in our wonderful example yesterday. You know? American Indian pot, American pot, you know, Aristo pot, and then what else, you know? Aristocratic. Siamese pot, stuck together. Now, obliged. Crackpot, these are wherever you see the lines, except where it says Rama, it's all cracks. It could have also cracked in the shape of the lettering Rama, but it didn't. That's why it was written on it. So, everything, pot asti, asti nava, yes, asti is, asti means is, don't get confused. Pot is there or not there?
Yes.
Yes. This one is there or not there? Yes. This one is there or not there? Yes. So such easy questions today. Yeah. What about this one?
Yes.
And what about this one? Yes. All of them asti asti. And then relative to the pot, what is this? Clay. Yeah. Excuse me for not taking it out because it's very messy. I'll have to go wash hands in the middle of the lecture. I don't want to do that. So either we do it like this, or we keep a pair of gloves for me and then I wear the gloves and handle it. So, asti, clay asti, correct? Yeah. So, what's the difference in this example, okay, between this asti and that asti? Both asti asti.
It has a special form.
Special form?
I mean, it has a form.
Whenever you say something is special, that means what?
I need a special.
It needs a specialist.
Clay is made of clay, pot is made of clay.
Ah.
But Clay is not made of pot.
Clay is not made of pot. Fantastic. So between this asti and that asti, there is a kind of a difference. It's not the same asti. This asti because this asti. Without this will not be asti. This will be nasti. That is what we have to understand. This is the fun part. The fun part is because clay is, that is why pot is. So both of them are recognized by the word is, but the isness, if I can get really complicated, the isness is a different isness when you talk about clay and then when you talk about pot. Both is, excuse the grammatical mistake, but still, I'm trying to illustrate a point. Both are recognized by the word is. Yes or no? Yes. But this is more superior in relation to this example. It says, aha.
Iser.
It is zest. Is zest, not iser. Is zest. Superlative. A good word. Nice. I like that. So, this is, this is, but this is because this is. This is not because this is. It doesn't go both ways. It's only one way. Vedanta is only one way. Yes. So clay exists. Pots also exist. Correct? The difference is that if there is only one existence, it has to belong somewhere, correct? Does that existence rest with a clay or with a pot? With clay. Correct? It's very simple, very clear. Same thing if we had golden ornaments. Ornaments, asti nava asti. Gold asti, asti. But which asti is the real asti? Will the real asti please stand up? And the real asti rests with gold, not with all the glitter of the ornaments, because the glitter really is borrowed. Go back to what we concluded with last evening's class, the crow in the peacock symposium. Yeah. The crow passing off as a what? Peacock. Down to the feathers. And the gait also, it learnt. It had to join a few classes, but it learnt. Peacock cha-cha-cha. It learnt. And went to the peacock symposium. So the crow's entry into the symposium was based on borrowed identity, correct? If anybody had seen its ID card, it would have been in trouble. Because it didn't look like a peacock then in the photo. So the crow's entry into this peacock conference was based on a borrowed identity. That's where the expression comes, shining in borrowed feathers. From this story, this expression comes. This is what it is. Shining in borrowed feathers. So the whole world of this is lighted up because it shines in borrowed asti. It's not the only thing it borrows. Borrowed bhati, borrowed priyam. Everything is borrowed. So the relationship between aham and idam is one of the lender and the borrower. Aham is the lender. It lends its asti, existence. It lends its sentience. It lends its limitlessness. And all other objects shine in this borrowed existence, this whole world of idam. It's just like the crow dressed as the peacock. That's what it is. This whole world, everything that you see is borrowed. Borrowed from this I alone. Borrowed, 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 borrowed. Then the I must be very emaciated, thin, and, like someone living on dry bread and water. Because the I, how many things are there in the universe? My God! Start counting. Even if you count species, if you count even in this earth itself, it's endless. What to talk of other lokas? In other lokas, there are celestial lokas are there. There are yakshas, celestial musicians, and then gandharvas and kinnaras. These are all musical people, not people, celestials. And then there are all other, ancestral realm. There are so many kinds of parallel universes coexisting repeatedly. And all of them are borrowing their existence from this aham. Fantastic. All of them. So the aham should become very lean, resentful, upset, crabby, cranky. What is this? Again, you want to borrow? How much to give? I can't keep giving. I need some asti for myself. I've lost the shine because I've given it to you. Ingrates, all of you. The aham should be saying like that. Is the aham affected by this lending, borrowing relationship between itself and idam? No? Why?
It is limitless.
Yeah. The word priyam means pleasing. Asti bhati we saw. Exists, shines, is sentient, and priyam means it is pleasing. Why is it pleasing? Because it is limitless. Only that which is limitless is pleasing, either by its presence or by its absence. That's what it is. Sickness is pleasing. How? By its absence. Why is sickness pleasing by its absence? Because when it's not there, I feel limitlessly energetic. I feel limitlessly well. I feel limitlessly enthusiastic. I feel limitlessly motivated. That is why it is pleasing, because of its absence. This is fantastic. This is what has to be understood. So because the aham is limitless, size-wise, time-wise, because time also asti. This is one nice thing. Time asti, correct? Mm-hmm. Is the I existing in time, or is the time existing in I? Yeah. Now we know the correct answers by now. Whether we mean it or not, we know the correct answers. Time is existing in I. Correct? Yeah. So this is something which is so, and space is existing in I. This is what is so wonderful about aham. So this asti bhati priyam exists, shines, and is limitlessly pleasant, limitlessly pleasing. Pleasing is, converted into happiness, limitlessly joyous, ananda. Same thing. The same three words that describe the I pervade this entire universe with a little bit of a change. What is the change? Name and form. Don't take this name and form too lightly. What is this name and form? Yeah, because everybody says Namarupa, Namarupa, Namarupa. In fact, if you inquire into a form, it really is not there. Think about it. A classic example. This is a very German example, coming from the Germans. That's why it's called German. From the German philosophers. Yeah. So this is how they will look into it. What is this? Don't say clay now, please. Okay, yeah. Pot. This is not the time to say clay. So they will ask like this: what is the definition of a pot? And the answer is that which has potness. Now we are truly in this kind of a in the realm of Western philosophy. That which has potness. So the question is, where is the potness? Is it on top of the pot? Is it underneath the pot? Is it in the pot? No. That which has potness is pot. Is defined as the pot. So potness cannot already be in the pot, correct?
External markers, though, yeah.
So then the potness cannot be located in cloth. Can potness be located in cloth? Absolutely wrong. No, because that which has clothness is cloth. That which has patatvam is pata. That which has ghatatvam is ghata. Ghatatvam, patatvam, potness, clothness. Then if you look into this, so it's not in cloth, potness. It's not in book. Pustakatvam is that which has bookness is book. It's not in another pot, because that pot also has potness. So what is this thing called potness, first of all? And question number 2, kutra asti, where is it? Where is it? It's not in pot. It's not in any other object. Therefore, where is it?
It is pot.
It's not. It's just a. Huh?
It's in clay.
It's in clay. It's not really even in clay, but we are constrained to say it's in clay. We are constrained to say that it is in the same source where the pot came from. Yeah. Because really speaking, there is no such thing called potness. It's an incidental attribute of clay. What? Pot. Pot is an incidental expression of clay, without the clay undergoing any change at all. But from the standpoint of the pot, it doesn't share the same. Pot cannot say clay is incidental to me. Can it say that? No. Clay is intrinsic to the pot. Pot is incidental to clay. Idam is an incidental expression of aham. Idam cannot say the same thing. Idam comes from aham, resolves into I, sustained by this I. What is this I? Asti bhati priyam. Sat, Chit, Ananda, same thing, different way of expressing. No, but why didn't you tell us before? Because this is the methodology of the teaching. It uses different words to kind of burrow deeper in terms of clarity. That's why Asti Bhati Priyam is used in one place, Sat Chit Ananda in another. Same thing. Sat, Asti, is. Chit, Bhati, sentient, ananda, priyam, limitless, joyous. So the potness is an incidental attribute from the standpoint of Satchidananda, from the standpoint of this consciousness. We can use this word. This awareness, this limitless consciousness, everything is an incidental expression of this limitless consciousness. Idam, everything. Idam sarvam. But from the standpoint of idam, what is there? The astibhati priyam, you cannot say is incidental. It is intrinsic to it. It's not incidental. From the standpoint of aham, everything is an incidental expression. And therefore, you see the difference. One relies entirely on its being on the other. In fact, its very expression is the other. The other one is self-standing reality, which is aham.
So standing.
Yes. Even when I'm sitting down, yes. Yeah. Self-standing reality. That is what is meant by self-revealing, self-shining. Aham, aham, aham iti sakshat sakshi rupena bhasate. It shines in the form of the witness. All the time. This is what I have to know. This is what I have to understand. So as to not be affected or not get mixed up in the idam. So that means I have to press an eject button, and since I'm mixed up in the body, I have to press eject now button and have an out-of-body experience, because I should be this diffusive, all-pervasive astibhati priyam, as opposed to being caught in this body-mind sense complex astibhati priyam, all mixed up, horrible, That's what I should do. How come, whoever made this body forgot to put an eject button? They didn't. In fact, there is an eject button. It's already depressed. That's a depressing fact. It is called Udana. That is the name of the button. Where is it? Don't ask. It's all, mysterious. The life is not counted in years for us. For us, life is counted in the number of breaths you take. There are 5 forms of prana. Prana, respiration. Vyana, circulation. Samana, digestive prana, digestive force. Apana, excretion. And then Udana, the eject button. That's all its job is. The others have definite jobs, circulation, excretion, digestion. These are all the subtle things, functions of the body. Udana just sits there. And each time you breathe, like there is a mantra counter. Tick. They use that in the shrine. Tick, click, click. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajna Prayachha Swaha. Click, Click, click. Mantra counter, because you have to chant it 1008 times. So, like this, the Udana Vayu, each time you breathe, it goes tick, tick, tick. It never makes a mistake. That's why one must never hyperventilate. You go tick, 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 tick. Ooh, it's measuring life. Always keep a paper bag handy. Because you never know when. In Eugene, that's not hard. In Eugene, you never know when you might get anxious. So have a paper bag handy. Breathe into the paper bag. Long, deep breaths. Why? Because they have found out that when one is agitated, little bit of carbon dioxide to the brain is helpful. Not too much. Little bit. calms the person down. Correct? The ancient way was different. The ancient way, they didn't have paper bags. They didn't have paper. Neither paper bag nor paper back. Nothing they had. So they said, we are going to become yogis. We are going to do yoga. And after yoga, what comes? Pranayama. We are going to train ourselves, our bodies, to breathe occasionally 3-4 times a day. Enough, so that we live long. That was their way. But, that's just a coffee break for Lord Yama. Lord Yama says, oh, this person took up yoga? Good. I can go have a croissant. And I can come back later because they are going to be living a little longer. I know that. That doesn't perturb him at all. So the eject button is already there, because this Udana, when the number of breaths allotted to a certain body-mind complex is up, it just says to the other pranas, come on boys, let's get out of here. And it gathers all of them, like a sheep dog, barking, it gathers everyone. Very difficult to have this sheep dog as a pet. Because because whenever you have Thanksgiving and you have people there, it thinks its job is to herd everyone together. And here are people who don't even get along with each other. They cannot stand each other. They cannot even be in the same room. And here the dog makes them all close and... So Udana is the sheepdog that gathers all the other pranas. Come on, fellows, let's get out of here. And they all together leave the body, along with desire for ice cream, desire to be born in America, because last time could not finish the immigration process. That's why that desire remained. Desire to be born in India. Some few, strange people have that. And then the desire to, be a man, because one was a woman and was feeling, I just want to be a man next time. Okay, that. Desire to be a woman. Because some men feel like, what is this? I can't even cry without being, made to feel ashamed. So I want to just have a free life. I want to wear lots of colorful dresses. What is this boring, suited, booted and tied up all the time? So that desire, all these desires, go along with the pranas. What else goes? The memory goes. Memory, this one was mean to me, that one was not nice to me, I don't like this, I don't like that. Ragadveshas also tailgate. Yeah, they are the tailgaters, pun intended. And they all go, and they hang out and have chai, waiting to get into a body. Yeah, we wait to get into the body. This disembodied bunch of desires, memories, grudges, fears, ragas, dveshas, past life impressions. They're all sipping chai and then they're waiting. And in the Tibetan, there is one Tibetan book of dying. Tibetan book of death and dying. I read that. It's just very fascinating. And there it says that they don't hang out having chai. They are actually there. They rush into the home of every newly married couple because they may conceive, and so they want to be there and get into the womb immediately. That is what the Tibetan belief is. So they are waiting for hanging out. When will the next marriage take place? Very interesting. Udana, And so therefore, why did we talk about Udana? Because the I that is mixed up with this body-mind-sense complex, how should I get moksha? Should I have to depress an eject button and get out of there so that I can be free? That's like saying pot space. There is space inside this pot, correct? Yeah? Let me show you because I'll take it out first. Not possible, space is still there inside the pot. Even if I go like this, it is still there inside the pot. Yes or no? Yes? And so therefore, the pot space, if it doesn't know the aham and the idam, if it doesn't know that I am that which is all-pervasive space and I am free of everything, if it doesn't know, what does it do? It keeps saying, praying, when will I join space? Darshan do ghana shyam nath more. Please give me darshan. Darshan means the vision of, oh space. Who is praying space? Please give me a vision of space. Who is saying space? Spaced out space in this case. So too this jiva, not knowing the truth of this I, laments that one is stuck as it were in this dying body. Of course it's a dying body. In fact, you are older than when you attended meditation. Yeah. And if we had the X-ray eyes or the microscopic eyes, we would see the cells dying as we speak. Starting with brain cells. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, that explains why I'm understanding less and less. Starting with brain cells. From the nose to the toes, everything is dying all the time. It's very precarious. Yeah. But we already said that idam is finite, correct? Yeah. As long as it's, as long as it's associated with asti bhati priyam, it shines as infinite. But that infinite that you seek is you. Not knowing that, one gloms on, attaches to the finite, and then what happens? Gets disappointed repeatedly. So too with this body, mind, sense complex. Attaching to the finite, I get disappointed repeatedly, repeatedly, repeatedly. So therefore, jump out. No. What fun is there? I want to be pure asti bhati priyam, pure satyam jnanam anantam, pure satchidananda. There is no fun. Yeah. You can't eat. Think about it. You can't eat. Satchidananda is never hungry. You can't have breakfast. You can't look forward to tea break. You can't do yoga. You can't listen to Vedanta because Satchidananda doesn't have ears. Right? Asti bhati priyam, no ears. You can't go out and visit a friend. You can't do anything. You can't relate to anything. No fun. And certainly you cannot sit in a class. So the body, therefore, is a blessing for this Satchidananda to know itself. It's a means for it. The human body is a great blessing for this Asti Bhati Priyam, this Satchidananda, to know itself. Without this body, there are no means. There are no means of preparing for this knowledge. There is no means of recognizing the ignorance. There is no means of knowing yourself. Therefore, it's a blessing, not a curse. But then I feel trapped. Then go back to this pot space example. Pot space guru has to come and instruct the pot space. You are space. In fact, space is not in pot. Is space in pot? This is Zen Guru. Let's make it fun. Is space in pot or is pot in space? The pot space scratches its head and goes away. I need to think about this. This is a Zen koan. Koan? What is that? Koan, yeah. This is a Zen koan. Are you in space or is space in you? Oh, I think I just feel a little sick. I think I need to go lie down and think about this.
You need some space.
I need some space from the teaching. So Zen is very similar to Vedanta, very similar. Only thing is the Zen gurus, they don't talk so much. Yeah. They just leave it up to you. They'll ask one question. The sound of the redwood tree falling and nobody is there. When the redwood tree falls, does it make a sound? And you're so confused, you immediately feel like going home and eating something to calm down. So these are the Zens are, I suppose, the Zen way of teaching is the modern Upanishad, that way. But it's very similar to Vedanta. Not the same, but similar. So, but we talk a lot, and we explain everything, one by one. We don't leave anything to the imagination because that's dangerous, because if it's in the imagination, you can imagine wrongly. Yeah, I can just imagine wrongly and go away thinking this is it. Like the person, like 5 people without the gift of sight feeling an elephant. One says, oh, it is like a fly whisk. The other one says, no, it's very cool Indian, elephant, India. If I stand, it's like a wonderful ceiling fan. I'm just nicely aerated, wonderful. Oh, so good, so nice, so cool. And the third one says, no, it's a solid pillar, and the fourth one says, it's kind of like sandpaper if you touch it. So like this, each one has their own, impressions. The job of the Vedanta teacher is to show the whole, so that these impressions, the partial impressions, are not taken for the whole. This is the problem. If idam is taken for aham, that means I take the part, the name and the form part, to be the whole. This is the problem. The problem was already because I was mixed up. And so if we have Vedantic koans, then the mix-up will continue. Correct? So that's why we teach this. But here, in this example, we can have fun. So we can say, are you crazy? The Guru says. You say that the space, you are in a pot. Actually, pot is being upheld by space. What are you talking about? You are that permeates the pot, that permeates outside of the pot, and between the pot and the space, what is there? Space. Everything is space, space, space alone. You are space. Then the pot space no longer wants to crack the pot. Yeah. Because it doesn't want to dismiss this duality, which can actually be very enjoyable if its spoof is understood. Then it is live entertainment. When each jiva becomes a reality show. Yeah, that's why, Bhagavan doesn't have a cable TV. Each jiva is a reality show. This is what it is. Wonderful. So therefore, this Satyam Jnanam Anantam, I have to understand. I have to know as the truth of myself. Easier said than done, correct? Yeah. Many times in the class it's very clear. And after leaving the classroom, let's say somebody was outside doing a 1-minute survey. What did you learn? Well, I think you should experience the class for yourself. You say diplomatically, correct? So therefore the clarity is something that grows after repeated exposure. One time helps to jumpstart the rusty batteries, and it is good, but then it has to be maintained. There should be a regular exposure to this to really get rid of all the cobwebs. Yeah, this is just about an objective understanding of the truth of yourself as revealed in the Upanishads. That's really what the whole thing is about. But then there are problems. What is the problem? There are habitual orientations. I know I am Astibhati Priyam, and the collective name for Astibhati Priyam is Brahman. Yeah. I know I am Brahman, ... What? But I don't know that sometimes. ... Okay, now what? I know I am Brahman, but I don't behave like it all the time. At any time, in fact. I know I am Brahman, but, what? How to experience it? So this comes from, there is, this is what we call Tvam Pada Vichara. What we have done is, in the last few lectures, an inquiry into the word you. And I told you there is no you. What is you? I. Tvam is aham. So why don't you straight away call it aham pada vichara? Why do you have to say tvam pada vichara? Why are you making it complicated?
Already has a name.
What? Yeah, well, because the tvam pada vichara comes from the famous sentence tat tvamasi. Yeah, tat tvamasi, it comes from that. So therefore, we are just looking into that. But this is from the Chandogya Upanishad, which we talked about yesterday, where Shvetaketu is told, you are that which you seek to be. You are that alone. That meaning the cause of the universe. So Tvam Pada Vichara means an inquiry into the word you. And when I say you, when the teacher says you, what do you understand? I. That's why it is Tvam Pada Vichara. Because it is taken from this sentence, we are honoring that sentence which unfolds an equation between Jiva and Ishvara that we are yet to discuss. So this should be enough. Tvam Pada Vichara should be enough for me to lead my life without being what? Encumbered by all this. It should, but it is not. Why? Because all this takes gigantic proportions and threatens to overpower the I. Even though it is known, it is not fully known. It is not fully understood because the whole sentence, Tat Tvamasi. The pot example was given. And just like the pot, you are that Sat. Uddalaka says, in the beginning there was Asti. All that was there was Asti. And that Asti happened to be self-bhati, shining. And that Asti was a limitless Asti. He has a different name for Asti, he calls it Sat. In the beginning there was Sat. Ekameva. How many Sats? One Sat. Non-dually one, advitiyam, non-dually one, because one means you can have half a Sat, quarter Sat, 1/16 Sat, 1/64 Sat. You can keep on going and fragmenting it. Non-dually, impartite, one Sat alone was there. And now what is there? Still one Sat. This is a no-brainer. One was there before, one is there now. But idam agre means what? Before all these names and forms, words and meaning, the potness, the clothness, the bookness, the micness, the chairness, the tableness, all these things were conjured up. Words and meanings were conjured up. All that was there was one Sat alone. And this Sat, Sa Atma, Tat Sat, that Sat, Sa Atma, this I is that Sat. That's why the Tattvamasi, Shvetaketu. Tat Sat, Sa Atma. This Atma, this I that I know as being more than this body, mind, sense complex is indeed that Sat alone. And this was talked about. So in just knowing the nature of the I is incomplete without knowing it as what is it really. If it is not the body, if it's not the mind, and if it is not the senses, it exists and it is everything, okay. But still there is something missing because all this still threatens to overpower the I. Still threatens to overpower the I. Why? Because I cannot go about the world pretending that I am the author of idam. Even though that's true. That's true. All this has come from me because everything is being sustained by me. Everything resolves unto me. We saw that. Just like the clay pot. Everything is because I am. I shine, everything shines after. I am the cause, everything is because. This should be enough, but it's just one-sided because it gives a certain kind of a hubris where one goes and says Zoom or some magic words. And then what? The weather changes, points to the cloud. Off with you, go home, go somewhere else. The cloud should oblige and go because the cloud exists because I exist, correct? Yeah. Similarly, you can say poof to anybody you don't like and they also relocate instantly without baggage. Should just point. And if there is, stomach troubles, you should say poof, you should point here and say poof, gone. Healing yourself. And you should be able to just do everything. You should be able to, in other words, play God. In fact, this is the problem, I think, of this whole New Age movement, is that there's only Tvam-pada analysis without Tat-pada. The Tat word is not understood. So I should be able to change everything that I don't like and change everybody. Starting with a significant other, I should be able to change all their habits, especially the annoying ones, and I should be able to make them do exactly what I want them to do. And the teenagers, of course, I should be able to transform them. I should be able to make them obedient and listen to whatever I have to say. Doesn't happen. The question is, why? What is it that we are missing?
Isn't everyone else as well?
They are also that.
We will wait till 11 o'clock to find that. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Little prasad is in order since everyone worked hard.